Tommy!
Tommy!
There we go. How are you?
Yeah. Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Very, very well indeed. Great to see you. You okay, both of you?
Yeah,
Yes.
doing good. Tommy, last time you were with us, you were with me, nobody else. We got SJ here
Yeah,
joining us today. She
fantastic.
was very jealous that she didn't get to speak to you before, so this is the special arrangement for specifically for Sarah. It won't be
Oh,
released
no.
online. The
Oh, no,
podcast will
that's
never
not
see the light
true.
of day. It's just for Sarah only.
Yeah.
Look,
Fantastic. Hey, listen, more than happy to see you both. And yeah, good to see you in good times as well.
your nice haircut, man. Looking
Thank you,
slick.
mate. Yeah. Do you know what? I thought after years and years and years of my mother cutting my hair for me, I thought it's about time I
Mm.
started paying for a haircut. So yeah, you can certainly see where the Men in Blazers dollars have gone.
Yeah. Straight to the head. Straight to
Yeah,
the head. Letting the money
exactly.
go straight to the head. There you go.
In
Yeah.
more ways than one. In more ways than one, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I cut my hair myself, which I've done for years. So I also made the small investment of getting a pair of cheap clippers off of Amazon and figuring out how to cut my hair through the year. So I save my pennies that way as well. I don't have that Men in Blazers dollars, that those pounds. Yeah.
You know what? You're a man after my own heart. I've got to tell you. That is your commitment to saving money there, mate. Fantastic. I'm all over that.
If I do anything right in life, that was it. Done. Just sign over the deed right now. I'm done. I'm cooked. Well, Tommy, thank you for coming back on today. We haven't talked to you for a while, so obviously there are things that have happened since last we spoke. Last time we spoke, you gave a hint. You said, "Hey, I got this project coming out with Men in Blazers. It's going to be coming out really soon." So we've got to see the unfold of that project, and oh my goodness, is it not the most perfect look into a day in the life, a behind the scenes man in the stands, just your average player or person coming in to watch a match. It has been absolutely wonderful, enjoyable for all of us to watch it from across the pond, across the world. And when you got into that, did you think that it was going to have such resonance as that series has now?
No, honest to God, no. I've got to be honest. I didn't know exactly how it was going to go. Roger and the guys. Got to give a massive shout as well.
Mm.
Stevie, the producer who I work alongside, is an absolute legend of a bloke, and he does 95% of the work. I'm the idiot who just turns up and has a drink and sits and watches Wrexham. So, those guys, and I've got to say, there's a million more people I can mention as well, absolutely amazing. But mate, no, I didn't know how well it was going to go. I was hoping, they Men in Blaze were very very confident that it would go down well. Your side of the Atlantic. But I've got to be honest. My hope, I wasn't too concerned about that. I knew you guys in the US would hopefully enjoy that sort of insight. My thing
Yeah.
was, although we were sort of, first and foremost, we were sort of geared to a US audience, but my hope was that it would go down well, sort of everywhere. Because I think sometimes it's really difficult to find that balance about who your audience is. But honest to God, I have to say, hand on heart, it could not have gone better from my perspective. And I know the guys at Blazers are really happy as well. But it's very kind of you to say that as well about how it's gone. And yeah, I tell you what, one thing that does help though is when Parky and the boys get it right on the field. It makes my job a lot easier.
Those are good days at work. Good day out there. It's hard to have a bad day when you have an extra 3 points sitting in your pocket. Um,
Oh, absolutely, and it was the only tricky time we had with doing the this week in Wrexham stuff was I don't know if you remember, obviously January of this year where we just couldn't win away from home, and we were going to
yeah.
places like Salford, Newport. You'll both remember those games, and there was a little bit of doubt creeping in from everyone, and you could feel a bit of tension. And I think that came across a couple of times. I think it's the Tranmere game actually a little bit later where we lost at home. We were expected to win that game comfortably, And, I think there was a bit at the end where I was saying, it's not good enough, it's not good enough. And I sort of, it was passion, but I look back at it now and I think, I'm a little bit embarrassed because Parky and the boys, I feel like they always knew they had it in the bag. They knew they were going to get promotion. But, yeah, there was that edginess there which was a bit tricky. But otherwise, it's just been the most amazing journey, hasn't it, guys? You have to pinch yourself where we were playing your Bromleys, your Boreham Woods a couple of years ago. And look where we are now. It's incredible.
Absolutely. And I don't want to rob too much of the question time because I know SJ, she had at least 23 questions that were top priority. There was middle priority, low priority, but top priority 23. SJ, what's the first one you want to rifle over to Tommy's way?
Well, I'm actually gonna steal one from Simon because it's really funny. Ooh. He says, "Can you be a Men in Blazers if you're wearing a cardigan?"
Well, listen. Those of you who know me well will know I've never worn a blazer in my life. So yeah, I'm going to say yes to that 100%.
Wait, tell me, are you saying that no matter what Raj or anybody does, there will not be a blazer going on those shoulders?
Well, one thing I've learned in my life, mate, I've got to tell you, is never say never to anything. There's a lot of things that I didn't think I didn't think I'd be sat in Philadelphia in 35-degree heat, hearing the Welsh national anthem and Wrexham playing in front of me. So that's happened. So yeah, I'm going to say never. Listen, if Rog wants to buy me a blazer, I'll wear it, no problem.
This would be the greatest thing singularly to happen in my life. Is that if one offshoot question had you in a blazer within 30 days, hopefully in the hottest, most inappropriate climate possible, would be the payoff. How's that relationship been going of, did you know Raj before that started, or how did that even transpire?
Well, it felt from my perspective, it felt like the most random thing ever. Rog gave me a call, and I was vaguely aware of Men in Blazers and the work. I've got to be honest. Prior to us doing this, I think it's probably fair to say Men in Blazers, they were much bigger in the US than over here in the UK. Hopefully, we've done a little bit to change that, and I know for a fact I've got friends and I've got family as well who support Everton. Who I've spoken before about, and I think because of Roger's support of Everton, I think they were they registered on Everton fans' radar. But yeah, it was a random moment. I had a phone call from Rog, and we had a fantastic chat, and straight away, we just sort of bounced off each other. We had a really entertaining chat for I think half an hour, and yeah, he sort of said, listen, nothing's set in stone, but we're looking to do something around Wrexham Football Club. And then the next thing was, are you available to come to Philadelphia in 2 or 3 weeks? And I was like, well, yeah, 100%. If you're paying, I'm there, baby. But yeah, there's a pattern here, isn't there? If people want to pay for me, I'll do anything. But yeah, no, I had a fantastic time with the guys. Jonathan Williamson, Jay Dubs, Scott Debson, the guys from Blazers, and straight away I thought these are fantastic people, and it was always going to be a yes from me in terms of working with them, and when they finally secured the sponsorship deals, etc. with Stoke Cold Brew, and I said, yeah, I want to be involved in that. It's absolutely amazing, but certainly the original phone call was slightly random. So yeah, but I've got to be honest and say it's changed my life as well. It's been absolutely amazing, the opportunity they've given me, and thankfully, the vast majority, 99.9% of feedback has been positive. So let's hope that continues.
Yes.
One of the things I really like is how literally positive it seems, even when there's an unfavorable outcome, or the match was called off. You guys drove forever, and they're like, "We're gonna go to this random match," and he was like, "What?" Turning those events that could be really sour, "Oh well, this week in Wrexham, everything sucked," right? Like having that perspective to kind of like, you know, turn it around and still make it a positive. I love the behind the scenes with the little stuff. What's your favorite like off moment, like where you felt like things were sour, but you had just like a ding idea where you're like, oh, this will be great.
Well, to be honest, I'm really chuffed that you brought up the Forest Green game that was called off. Actually, that was a fantastic day, and you know, from that, I've met who's a guy who's gone on to be like one of my best mates now, and that's Richie, who was just absolutely brilliant. We were very close to Forest Green that day, and yeah, I think it was only the second or third game we were actually filming for Blazers.
Yeah.
And we were so close to getting there. We had the news and we were gutted. But we said, well, we've come all this way. There's no point us just turning back. Let's go and watch another game. And it turned out to be one of the most entertaining days we've had. Aled, who has become a recurring character with his fish cakes, as we know, he had a fantastic day. And I think that sort of encapsulated what we're trying to do. And you know, we're trying to show that, you know, not everything goes to plan. And that has been, it's almost like a metaphor for what's happened with Wrexham Football Club. You know, we've had, even since the takeover, I mean, before the takeover, it felt like everything went wrong. And then, you know, since the takeover, there's been ups and downs there as well. You know, there's been times where, obviously, the first season, we were hot favourites to win the league. We didn't quite make it in the first season, and people are saying, oh, is Parkinson the man? And, you know, and this is what I mean. These are the moments where you almost sort of, you know, you expect to have success, but it doesn't always go your way. So that was a great day as well. You know, I think, yeah, in terms of, you know, like the Birmingham game that just 3 weeks ago, you know, that was a realization for me about how far we came. And we had a fantastic day filming, and, you know, the atmosphere in that way end was absolutely incredible. We lost the game. You know, let's be honest. In League One terms, we were playing the Harlem Globetrotters, weren't we? You know what I mean? It was always going to be a tough ask. But, you know, I think that was the moment where you look at it and you go, we've come so far. We were playing, you know, I remember some of the grounds 2 years ago, you could sit on the front row and still bang your head on the roof. That's how small the grounds were. You know what I mean? That's the difference. We're playing in 30,000 seater stadiums. You know, we've played against Bolton and Birmingham already. We're going to be going to Charlton. These are all guys 10 years ago that were in the Premier League. So you're absolutely right. The Premier League is the big thing. We want to get there. But also, I'm being a Wrexham fan. It's about enjoying the journey. It sounds a bit cliche. It sounds a bit X Factor-ish, if you like. But it is about the journey, and, you know, it's just been the best ride of our lives. And, you know, it's been a pleasure to have you guys on board as well. And I always say, you know, I've been on a few different podcasts and stuff. Just what you guys are doing, what other guys are doing, following the club, giving us all this content. You know, we're all just after the same thing. That's success for the club. But I mean, we're spoiled as fans to have all these different platforms now, aren't we?
100%. And, you know, that thing that you give us, as far as I can speak from my perspective individually, but you doing like that fish cakes, you've got this person who has this one peculiar thing about them, but we all have a friend like that, right? Yeah. So it's like when you see things that are, and this is not to say that This Week in Wrexham is not polished, but when you see things that are more polished, you miss some of those unique things that are specifically to your area, to your friend world, your circle of people. And it's so relatable. So it's also a breath of fresh air for us to watch and say, okay, well, we might not think we have a lot in common with people in Wrexham outside of the love for the club and the love for the town. It's like, well, what else do we have exactly in common? Some of those universal things come through that you give us that window in a way that the rest of the content, and it's nothing bad against anybody, but can't do from, you know, a face talking to a thing in a room. Like, you're out there, you're showing us around the town, we're getting familiar with the language, with the friendships, what you guys do on the off day, what happens when you can't make it to a match, what happens when roads are closed or you're delayed, what do you do in the car on the ride there, happens when you have a quest to find a fish cake when you thought you'd find one everywhere in town. It's like those are so incredibly like welcoming to us. It's like that next level of getting to know Wrexham on a deeper way that it feels almost like we know you and that we're friends with you, and almost where if we came up and talked to you, we would start a conversation, expect you to pick up where we last left off, even though we might not have ever spoken once in our life. Have you had an increase of, I don't know if that's the right word, but fans coming up, taking pictures, all that stuff?
Yeah, do you know what you've said there? It genuinely makes me very happy because that's exactly what we were trying to do, Ran. That was we were trying to show something. We've always said, I speak to Paddy and Claire and Pete and Leighton, the guys who work on the documentary, and what they do is incredible. It's absolutely amazing. I love the documentary, but there are certain parts where we felt we could sort of plug the gaps that perhaps they can't in some ways. Because we're doing something different to what those guys are doing, and amazing what they're doing. We felt it's like I say, showing. And by the way, if someone should definitely find the funding for a spin-off show, Aled's Fish Cake Journey. That has to happen, in my opinion.
Yes.
Aled just going around the world trying the best fish cakes. That's got to happen. But no, I mean, and I still pinch myself, and I find it funny, and it's genuinely humbling. It's genuinely so nice when someone asks for a picture, and and I giggle, and I hope people. I always say to people, please don't think I'm being rude by laughing. It's just that I have to pinch myself that people want a photo of me, because I'm just a guy from Denby who probably has one too many drinks on a Saturday night. Well, I used to, and and I just enjoy following my club, but. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling, and I know speaking to guys like Scoot and Jonesy from the Declan Swans and people like that, and they sort of feel the same as me. That we sort of laugh about, Christ Almighty, and Wayne Jones as well, who's a great mate of mine, and he'll always joke. I always say, "Here he is, Mister A-lister," and he says, "Mr. A-lister, I've just been cleaning the toilets." Do you know what I mean? It's just, and that's the sort of, that's the sort of mad world we've come to sort of enjoy and love, and it's incredible, and I feel very, 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 very grateful that being able to do that, and don't take it for granted for 1 minute because. As a Wrexham fan and being from where I'm from in North Wales, you don't take anything for granted. So yeah, it's a ride that I'm really enjoying. I think we're all enjoying as fans, and yeah, it's wonderful times. And the thing for me as well is walking through Wrexham. Wrexham, as you both know, is it's a town that has seen better days, but it feels like the whole area, the community, and everything's on the way back up. And it's down to Ryan and Rob and everyone working together, and Humphrey Carr as well. I've got to mention Humphrey. What a guy. The tallest man in the entire world. He reminds me of, do you remember Cloverfield with the big monster in Manhattan?
Yeah.
He's like that, but
But with the same coordination. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He's a little bit more gentrified than the Cloverfield monster, I've got to say. But no, what a fantastic bloke, and just everyone. I think we've all done our bit. I'd like to think the US fans, the fans over here, Ryan and Rob, everyone at the club to get where we are. But it is incredible, still incredible, and I feel genuinely very humbled and grateful when guys like yourselves ask me to come on this and talk about it, because I don't know if you can tell, I can talk about it all day.
Oh, of course. We love that. And we've got to take that step back, take the breath, and look at the man, the myth in front of us that came from wading water in dinghies, getting footballs out of rivers in Denby, all the way to the Wrexham dynasty that you are now. You've come a long way yourself in such a short amount of time. One thing that has become a running theme on these interviews is talking about mental health. You, as of recently, have went dry. How long? How's that been going? How long has it been going for? What's the update there?
Do you know, I'm absolutely devastated you brought that up because I did fall off the wagon for a.
No, no.
No.
let me rewind. So hey, how's the party been going?
Yeah, I've been drinking for the last 6 days now, and no, listen, no, without bringing it down too much, I allowed myself a few drinks on Saturday at the game, and yeah. But what was important for me, I'm really, really happy that you brought mental health into it because it's a subject that I'm very passionate about. I think there was times over the summer where I wasn't doing the filming for Blazers. I had a lot of spare time on my hands, and sometimes there was I look back and I think there was pretty destructive sort of behaviours in some ways in which I was drinking too much and that was sort of filling time and it came to a point where I had to just regain a little bit of control and it was almost like a perfect storm of drinking too much and mental health suffers. It's a bit of a roller coaster. But I thankfully, I sort of recognised that, and I put things right. And I've got to say, the only reason I never ever bring these things up, asking for sympathy or to try and get. I don't know, to try and get any sort of help from people or stuff like that. I'm open about it because I think if I can help just one person be open about it and just recognise their issues and gain help and help themselves, then that I would be the proudest man in the world. I really will. I think it's so important. We all suffer from mental health issues, whether it's to one extreme or even slightly. We all suffer with it. But I think it's important to be open, speak to your friends, speak to specialists. I've been very unfortunate to lose some friends to suicide, and a lot of that sometimes was down to the stigma of people not wanting to open up and talk. So yeah, I've tried to be quite open. I'm not a perfect person, and I will from time to time sort of fall off the wagon, so to speak, and have a drink. But my thing was I just had to regain a bit of control. But what I will say is the support I had from especially the Wrexham supporting community, but also from right across the board was unbelievable. And I'm a genuine believer. I see the positive in people. I see the positive in the world. And I genuinely believe we could, if we help each other, we'd all be much, much, much better off. So yeah, I'm doing well at the moment. Things are going well. I'm happy. My mental health's pretty good, and yeah, it's just a case of trying to be open, talk about it all the time, and I do these videos. I like to have a joke. I like to laugh about it, but sometimes there's a time to be serious and just have a chat with people and. The old saying is, it's okay to not be okay. And that's my viewpoint really. But I'm glad you brought that up, though. I really am, because I am. I'm always happy to talk to it, and I have been able to talk to other people, and have a few friends of mine. We've had good long chats over the phone and in person, gone for a coffee, and we've helped each other out through that. So yeah, like I say, we're a wonderful, wonderful community of fans, both here and all across the world, and yeah, it's been an amazing thing to witness that.
Yeah, that's. Thank you so much for sharing that and the vulnerability, because there's so many people that get caught up, and if it's just the one person that happens to be listening today at this particular time, and then hears something from you, somebody that they look up to, somebody that they might admire or aspire to be like someday, and hear somebody say, hey, here's my vulnerability, here's where I could use some help, here's where I could do some work, and to be open with that might spark that conversation that just does make a difference in somebody's life. So thanks so much for the vulnerability, for sharing that with us and everybody out there. You are a strong and brave man. We all need to be cows. That's what we all need in our life is some more cows.
In some ways, maybe. In other ways, not so much. But yeah.
Well, I think what you kind of alluded to, which is like not the all or nothing game. It's like not, just completely dry or go on a blackout bender or whatever. There's got to be some type of balance in there, and it's important to, if somebody's dry for 12 months or 2 years, and that's something that gave them clarity and positivity in their life great. But then there's also people that need the example of finding the balance where, okay, I was drinking hard for a week or whatever it was as I was going through something, but to have the wherewithal to take that step back and go, all right, well, now I need to balance that out. I need to like have some type of trade between like all or nothing and still be able to enjoy life, still have that drink with friends on occasion and family and holidays and things like that. You still got to have that balance, because if not, then you've probably been there when you're the guy sitting on the outside while everybody is doing it, and you just feel even more separated. You're like, I think I'm doing the right thing, but it feels so wrong right now.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you're absolutely right there. It's finding that balance, and there's been times where I've sort of said, "Oh, I'm not going to drink again for a long time." I mean, the other week I'd made the point. I'd said I'm not going to drink for the foreseeable future. Well, unfortunately, that only lasted 2.5 weeks, which I was certainly talking about doing longer. But at the same time, I woke up on Sunday morning and I said, "Do you know what? I have had a drink, or more than a few drinks yesterday, but that's yesterday's gone. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm going to get back on the wagon. I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to do healthy things. I'm not going to the game this evening. Unfortunately, the EFL Trophy game. And we haven't got a game this weekend. I'll be going down to Cardiff for the Wales game next week, but I'll be getting a lift. I'll be up and down, and there'll be no drinking. So yeah, it's one of them. I've always said I've never. It's not a case of being an alcoholic or labeling yourself or anything like that. It's just recognizing what is the right thing for me to do here and now, and not to beat yourself up. That's an important one, because that's not going to benefit you in any way, shape or form. What happened yesterday was yesterday. What happens tomorrow is up to you.
And I hope you had a good time.
I did have a good time. Yeah, I did.
There you go. There you go.
And this is it. I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I'm going to go, okay, I've had a few drinks. I've done it a million times before. And I'll have a few drinks again. There's no point putting pressure on yourself, but just talking to people and we can all help each other.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
think for me personally, my issue with drinking is not the stopping, it's the starting, because I don't like the taste of alcohol. And so I get drinks that you can't taste the alcohol, and then I'm like, hi everybody, and then I don't know how to behave, and I am the person that's like, what happened at the time?
Wait, SJ, I have to cut you off just for a second. Tomi, on the heels of this story that she's sharing with you, I just want the backdrop to be set for you. The countdown is imminent. She is heading to Wrexham in 6 days. So just know that this train that she's speaking about, of once she starts and it gets going, the train's leaving the station. It's on its way to Wrexham. So just so you know that, a little bit of background. I'm sorry for interjecting, SJ.
I feel, I think a certain society pressure, a lot of people do, like, especially going to Wrexham, let's have a pint. And then trying to explain, like, I'm not trying to be rude, but you don't want me to get drinking. When somebody says, I'm not drinking, there's kind of a negative reaction in just like the desire to be supportive is like, I don't want to make you uncomfortable with my drinking. And it makes that person feel excluded. And when I was in Wrexham, I also went by myself. As a woman, I don't drink when I'm by myself. So, but I was like, people are like, what else do you want? Okay, this is great. Like, I felt so included and felt so, received that warmth. With your, talking about being supportive and mental health challenges in the community, I'm wondering if there's another part of the effect, that the Wrexham effect of the club takeover, that maybe we don't see behind, across cameras and because really, I think almost all American View is filtered through some kind of video situation. But what's a kind of local thing that you can say, like, this is changing this person's life or the business of this. Tourism's a real good example, but there's got to be other little nuggets that I don't know, the fish cake of people helping.
Yeah.
And Tommy, there's only 3 correct answers. No pressure.
Wow, dear me. Right. Oh, I think my signal's gone. I think I can't
Whoa.
hear you.
Tommy.
No, well, listen. I think you make a really good point, and I think at times there can be a bit of an unhealthy link between football in the UK, in Wales, and the UK, between alcohol and football, and it almost goes hand in hand, and you sort of do go. You go, well, I want to go without drinking, but you go, yeah, but we've got we've got Charlton away coming up. We've got Rotherham away. I don't really, I want to go and have a few drinks, and that's the thing. It becomes part of your psyche, and I mean, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people who go home and away with Wrexham and they don't drink. It's one of them. But what I'd say, SJ, there is, when you're over, I mean, there's so many wonderful things you can do in and around, Wrexham and North Wales, which just does not involve drinking at all.
Yeah.
As I think just down the road, I don't know if you've been to Dinas Bran, the Pont Cysylltu Aqueduct, and Snowdonia, Eryri, absolutely wonderful. And, they're places which they are breathtaking. The North Wales coast as well. I feel like I'm a tour guide now. I'm doing all right.
Yeah. How much per month?
Yeah. A month's not enough. Honestly, a month's not enough. But no, I think that there is sort of that. Football's always had that sort of link with drink and stuff like that. But I mean, like I say, it's one of them. You can have one day where you go. I'm sure you'll know Jay from New York, who was over here. He manages to do things just about right. He goes out for a few drinks, but then he'll have a few days away where he goes adventuring, and I feel like Jay goes to more Wrexham games than me. He's unbelievable. his air miles, unbelievable, man. But,
I know.
Yeah. I keep on asking him if he could put me in on whatever insider trading he's doing in New York, because I know that's what that man's doing. It's definitely.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Wolf of Wall Street was actually a documentary about Jay. Absolutely, absolutely great guy, Jay, as well, good friend of mine. And absolutely, there's a million different things. And listen, SJ, you'll have a wonderful, wonderful time. I'm hoping that the game being called off on Saturday hasn't caused you any problems, though.
No, actually, I get in on the 17th, and then, so Simon is like, I'm coming to Wrexham here. And before the fixtures come out, and I'm like, okay, we'll all match up. And then the fixtures come out, and it's, I was like, okay, I'm going to span for 5 Saturday, Tuesdays in hopes of getting, a few matches. Excuse me.
Oh, how do you say, like, Gesundheit or bless you in Welsh?
How do you say what, sorry?
Like bless you or Gesundheit, like when somebody sneezes or something. Is there a Welsh saying for that?
I don't know what we say, to be honest. No. I don't know. Yeah, you've caught me on the hop there. I don't know what the
Got him.
Yeah, you've got me on the hop. You've nailed me there.
Yeah. There you go, internet. All those people saying, "Oh, Tommy's not Welsh."
Yeah. But do you know what? I think Welsh people don't sneeze, to be honest. So yeah.
Right. That's the loophole. Is yeah.
That's one of my questions. Actually, is about
do Welsh people sneeze?
Yes, it's exactly. I've never seen that on This Week in Wrexham, and I heard some myth. No, I really appreciate the fluidity of incorporating speaking Welsh in and out of the episodes and having it be very fluid and natural. But I was wondering if did you grow up speaking Welsh or in a bilingual household? It sounds like maybe, or was that something that your family made a point of, like, reintegration into learning the Welsh language? Because I've, under my understanding is it's kind of died out some, not completely, but it kind of fell out of like the education system some.
Well, I tell you, I wish there was a short answer, but I'm going to give you I'm going to give you, rather than the long answer, I'm going to give you the medium answer to
Okay,
that,
yeah.
because it is quite complicated. But where I'm from Denbigh, which is 25 miles west of Wrexham. And Denbigh is quite an interesting area for the Welsh language, because you've got basically, it's almost like the dividing line between English-speaking Wales and Welsh-speaking Wales. Basically, most places west of Denbigh is first language Welsh, and most places east is first language English. So mine was interesting. My parents, every generation of my family spoke Welsh until my mum and dad. And my mum and dad in the 1980s, when Thatcher spit on the floor at her neck when she was yeah, exactly. She was in charge, and there was very much a sort of an atmosphere of and actually in the Denbigh area and further east, parents of children were told not to bother teaching their kids Welsh, because it was a dying language and it was a waste of time. It had no use in the modern world, and they were actually told that. Thankfully, since those days, it's had a bit of a rejuvenation. And yeah, the numbers after going down and down and down for years, they're starting to creep back up again. That's mainly because sort of adults and parents, they've seen the value of sending their kids, and they've seen the value of bilingualism. Most countries in the world are bilingual, or trilingual even. I mean, especially in Europe, most children on continental Europe grow up bilingual or trilingual. England is the exception, really, to that rule. Wales, thankfully, although I think it's only 20 odd percent who can speak fluently. The amount of people who can speak some form of the Welsh language is really going up and up and up all the time. So that's the medium answer. It's a subject I'm very passionate about, and I feel very proud to speak Welsh. And in Wrexham town itself, Wrexham is a place where the language is growing. It's traditionally not a very well-speaking place, but the same could be said for the other major towns and cities in Wales, places like Cardiff and Swansea. The language is not particularly strong there. Further west, you've got Carnarvon, Bangor, Porthmadog, Pwllheli, towns like that. You'll hear the language everywhere you go. Every shop you go into, everywhere, especially in Carnarvon, you won't hear much English. So that's the situation. But I've got to say, and I absolutely love what you said there, SJ, because I've got American people, Canadian people, and people from all over the world who visit Wrexham or North Wales or Wales in general show far more respect to the language than most English people do, actually. So that is a wonderful thing. When I hear of people I've become friends with from the US and people coming over and just even attempting, just saying the words diolch, croeso, anything. It's wonderful. It really is, and it's massively appreciated by all of us. So yeah, just the fact that you've attempted to use our language makes us very proud.
I had an experience at a restaurant when I was there, that the table next to me were some obviously English people, and they heard my accent, and which kind of happened. It was like, oh, what's going on, da, da, da. And then I was like, oh, I went to this place and that place, and I was like, I'm trying to say it right. And then they kind of went on this like, oh, I mean, you could say it this way. And then I was like, oh, no wonder nobody likes the English. Like, they're so condescending and disrespectful. Like, this just like total attitude of like, this other culture. I'm like, oh yeah, and I don't like you either. You're like, it just seems so rude. And I asked Spencer Harris when we talked to him, I was like, would it be appropriate? Like, would it be respectful? So I'm trying to learn the Welsh, kind of know the Welsh national anthem now, but I know the tune of it, but then the words, of course, are more challenging. So at the Vancouver match, they played it, and I kind of was like, da, 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 So I asked Spencer, like, well, would it be more like considered a positive or disrespectful to try to sing it in English, whoever was singing it in Welsh. And I could tell his polite answer was like, I mean, maybe just hum it.
No, it's one of. I don't think no one would get offended by that, but no, I remember actually. I don't know if you remember John Hartson. He used to play up front for Wales many years ago, and he organised a charity game between Wales and England. And prior to the game, they had a choir singing both anthems, and they sang the Welsh national anthem, Hen Laugh and Had I, in English. And I thought to myself, it's a bit disrespectful because they're not singing "God Save the Queen" in Welsh. Do you know what I mean? So it's like but no, like the thing is, no one would be offended if you did, but. Yeah, I did. I think I'd rather hum than sing English. I think, SarahJane, to be honest.
I have to apologize because I was a troll on the internet, and I was going into Tommy's posts where he had some of his political posts, and people were coming in, English, giving him stick and saying stuff. And I went in there and presented myself as the recolonizer. And I know I didn't do any type of help to the situation. I only fueled the flames even higher. But it's a really odd concept. And I don't want to go too far down that road and make it awkward. But that the biggest force of like colonizing and terror around the world is really fragile if you question them back. If you're like, hey, well, why? What are you guys doing in Wales? Like, why? You're like, what do you mean? Why do you have a problem? It's like, why are you so sensitive?
You're exactly right, and it's also it's that mentality which means that James McLean is booed at every ground across England because they want us to thank them for colonising us. That's what they want to hear. Sorry, it's not going to happen. But it's But hey, listen, I get myself in enough trouble without you two getting in trouble.
So for the record, can you give me a couple of quotes that we could use? I hate to shift gears on you, but I'm gonna do it. If the season were to end today, and this is it, League One. Finished today. Every single player's contract happened to be up at the same time right now. Who is getting the biggest bonus extension on the squad?
Oh, that's good.
Well, now there's a question. Now, there's only one answer for me, and it would not have been the answer that I'd have given at the start of the season or before the season, that's for sure. It has to be Ryan Barnett. It has to be. He has been an absolute revelation this season. Unbelievable. I think him and Max Cleworth, sadly injured now. That's a massive blow for us. But those two players have been outstanding performers. I think I've got to say as well, though. I think James McLean. Someone said last week. I can't remember. I'm not going to say their name or whatever. Someone said something along the lines of, James McLean only keeps his place because people like his political views. And I was like, what are you going on about? And then I was so happy to see how he played on Saturday because he was absolutely unbelievable on Saturday. People are so knee-jerk, and I'm guilty of it as well. One or two bad... Listen, on the way home from Stevenage the other night, I was thinking, that was dreadful. That was so poor. But one thing Parkinson's sides... since he's come to the club, one thing they've always done is bounce back well. But going back to the question though, Ryan Barnett, absolutely incredible. And I was one of them. I was perhaps questioning him at the start of the season. I was going, can he play League One? He's done it in the conference, in the National League. He's done really well. He did, I think, reasonably well last year. He did pretty well. He had a good season last year. But not tearing up any trees. He wasn't exactly a world beater, but first 10 games of this season. And by the way, I think maybe you could probably give credit to Parky bringing Sebastian Revan in, because that's probably given him the proverbial kick up the backside. Yeah. He's been unbelievable. But Cleworth as well. So I can't pick between those two, unfortunately.
But if you had to pick...
I
If you
go
had to
back at
party.
a push. If you're forcing me,
Yeah.
I mean, you're forcing me to offend all our English viewers, so I may as well just.
They'll be the trifecta. All good things happen in three, so we'll have
Yeah,
the.
absolutely.
I've got to say, like, not to interject my story onto yours and piggyback your greatness, but last season SJ was talking so good about Barney, in and out, in and out, and I was the skeptic. I kept on saying, okay, he's fast. I was like, but he gets stuck in those 360s of where he loses track of where he's at on the pitch, and now he's
Yeah.
like fighting, and his handles are great. The man has extremely good handles that saves him a lot of time. But last season, I was saying, he gets himself into trouble. He gets out, but it's of his own doing. And this season, I mean, I'll eat all that crow, because this season,
Yeah.
he's unstoppable.
Yeah.
He's got that quick step, and then he's gone. And next thing, there's a cross on point. It's not a 50-50 ball. It's on point for a goal to score.
That cross, genuinely, that cross for McLean's goal, first goal on Saturday. That's a world class cross. He hasn't even beaten his man. He's curled it round his man over the back post. That is genuinely top class. And I think he's worked so hard on his crossing as well, because we've always known he's got the step overs, he's got the pace, he can take on his man. I think he's improved his defending. I think he's worked really hard over the summer. And like, as I say, I'm a big fan. I haven't seen a massive amount, but I thought Revan was absolutely top drawer against Bolton away. At the bits and bobs we've seen him since, I thought he did well coming on against Birmingham. He's a good player. He's keeping Barnett's keeping him out the side really at the moment. So yeah, we're very, very lucky. We've got top class, and we've all forgot about Bolton, who just can't get a game because the standard is so high. So no, we're really, really lucky, and I think it's going to be an interesting to watch. So I'm going to watch it on the laptop, I think, and it's going to be interesting to see some of those fringe players, if you like, play tonight, because they would play for most of the teams in this league.
Yeah. Actually, I think you're muted. If you.
I totally was. I always think of Barney as the river dancing footballer, because he's like.
Ryan Flatley. Yeah, Ryan Flatley.
Yeah. So have you? So as a new fan, my impression is, and my impression from the documentary, which of course that's limited information but is that when you make a bunch of signings, when a team makes a bunch of signings, those signings integrate into the team and kind of ramp up and then take those spots. The positions that they normally play, they kind of just brush aside the team that was existing, and then I hear people say like, oh, this isn't the normal thing, because we still have, like, in the regular starting lineup, it's like 6 of the National League promotion players that were in the normal starting lineup then are playing now, and which is nice too. You talk about eating crow. They're all the like, oh, this person, fell down too far, but it's because they couldn't handle it up there, and then, But I guess my question is, how common is that to, like, we hear these record signings, but then don't get into the team? Like, do you have an expectation that those players, eventually just kind of will own that spot, or they're just constantly going to have to dig out a place to play?
Yeah, I think it's really difficult, isn't it? Because, Phil Parkinson's looked at it. He's got a budget. I don't think it's any secret. We're luckier than most League One sides to have a decent budget. I mean, don't get me wrong, Birmingham's budget blows us right out of the water. But I think with the case of maybe your likes of Mo Farrell, for example, I think maybe that's a signing with the next 3 or 4 years in mind, rather than straight away. So you talk about your record fee, but I think it was always going to be the case that he was never going to walk straight into the side, even though we've spent a record amount of money. I think it's one with the future in mind, definitely. And it'd be good for us to actually maybe go quite far in this competition that we're playing in tonight, the FL Trophy, because it gives guys like that a chance to play more, and gives them more experience, etc., etc. I think the one thing we can say about Parky is, he just seems to get it right in terms of a player's character. Every year, every time we sign new players, and we've got to remember he's probably signed by now. Christ, he would have signed probably over 50 players by now, I'd imagine. Maybe. Yeah, I would have thought so in the amount of time he's been at the club. He probably has. And yeah, they all just fit in. There's never any sort of issues. You never hear. Now, the eyes of the world are on Wrexham in many ways, and the media are desperate for a slice of anything with Wrexham. You don't hear anything about any training ground problems or stuff like that. The things that happen at training grounds up and down the UK every single day, it doesn't happen. And that's down to Phil Parkinson spotting not just a player that's going to benefit us, but a character that's going to benefit us as well. He deserves massive credit for it. I believe he calls it the no dickhead test or the no dickhead policy or something like that. You know what I mean? It's incredible. It's amazing how he does his due diligence. He makes sure he meets with the player first before signing him. It's a great way of working. But yeah, SJ, it's a difficult one. Sometimes a player will come in. I truly believe someone like Ryan Barnett, Parkinson would have probably brought in thinking this guy's going to get us to League Two. And then maybe he might not be good enough for League Two. I think Barnett's a good example of a player who's surpassed expectations, definitely. Or he's already surpassed expectations for me.
Yeah.
Maybe he can go further. Maybe he can go one league further. Who knows? So yeah, it's a difficult one. You talk about fees and stuff like that. I think we are in the lucky position where we can afford to take a punt on these guys. Mo Fowl, again, I think, let's have a look in 2 years. An interesting one for me is Sam Dolby, because I don't think he's going to make it at Wrexham personally, and that's nothing against Sam Dolby, who's he has done well for us, but I thought it was an interesting one to give him another contract. So it can go either way. But certainly, what he's done in his recruitment has been top class. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, we're approaching the hour mark, so let me give you a good question, or I hope a good question to walk out on. This is assuming not to get ahead of ourselves, but to definitely get ahead of ourselves. Let's say the season goes on and we hold this number 2 position at the end of the season. I know there's a lot of football to happen. There's a lot of stuff. The variables should change, will change. But let's just say it did. We have the current lineup that we have right now going into the championship. Where do we need to make the biggest adjustments if we went to the championship to not get immediately pushed back down?
How dare you?
Yeah. That is a really, really tough question. I mean, there's been some tough ones, but that's the pick of the lot, I reckon. It's hard, and it's hard for me to say that. I would probably say, up front, I think this is a big season for Paul Mullin. Paul Mullin's never actually done it consistently in League One in terms of scoring goals at the level he has done in League Two and the National League. It's a big season for Paul Mullin. I'm going to put it out there now. I don't think Ollie Palmer's good enough for the Championship. That's no disrespect to him. What a player he's been for us, by the way. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But I don't think he's good enough. Stephen Fletcher certainly won't be good enough for the Championship because he'll be another year older. It's difficult. Mo Fowl, maybe he will be in the future. It doesn't look like he will be now. It's really, really tough. And, I think up front is going to be the place where we're going to have to invest. And by the way, the League One to Championship jump in terms of investment alone is huge. It's huge. And, Birmingham are spending Premier League money in League One. You don't get much for I mean, our record signing, for example, is what is it, 550, something like that.
Mm.
We're going to have to quadruple that for if we want to go, not get to the championship, but if we want to stay in the championship, you're going to have to spend maybe £1 million, maybe £2 million, perhaps on players. Not always. Sometimes you can do it on a bit of a a stringent budget, but no, I think we're going to be swimming in a whole new pond if we go up. But yeah, definitely. Just to answer your question, I think we're pretty solid all over the park. I think up front, it's goals, isn't it? It's goals, and unfortunately, that's the one area of the pitch that costs the most money to get the best quality. So, we've just seen with Birmingham and Stansfield that 15, 16, 17 million, whatever they paid for him. Yeah, that's serious money. So that'll be the place. So yeah, Ryan and Rob, if you're watching, get your checkbooks out, boys. Come on.
And you already gave a pathway. You said, Sam Dalby, you've done great. Ollie Palmer, thank you for your service, sir.
Yeah.
But, well, Palmer, no slagging him off, but the pace, he's just, he's getting older, and it just maybe 5-10 minutes of, 100% speed Palmer, but then after that, and he's not the mousy, wiry, Paul Mullen type of ratty forward that can just weasel around somebody. He's a big body that takes numbers when they see him out there. So it is hard to play that position because he kind of has to outbody and then be faster than the people as well.
I think as well, Rad. I just want to say, I'm not saying Paul Mullen can't play Championship. I think the way when he's been on top form, especially end of last season, I think he proved he could. I think he probably could play Championship and score goals. Maybe not 25 a season. Maybe we're looking at 12, 13, 14, 15 a season, which was a decent return. But yeah, this season is a big season for Mullen. And it would be great to have one or two players that have come the whole way with us from the start of the Rob and Ryan area. And I think Mullen's possibly the best bet with that one.
Nice.
I was hoping it would be Mindy because he started at even lower level, and it makes me very discouraged. It makes me feel bad for him that the injuries that have kind of made because I recently have kind of really seen that a player being in the starting the starting team every week and then getting injured and trying to get back into that and maybe playing some reserve matches and just not getting those regular every week minutes, how difficult that is on top of recovering from an injury that you're trying to fight to get back in the team, kind of almost without your preseason ish, it seems. This is maybe an awkward question, but who is the player besides Max? I think I'll want him to recover super fast, but who is the player that you were the most sad or the were most wanting to come back in and make a full recovery that kind of didn't and wasn't able to continue? Who would you have picked to be magically heal?
Yeah, no, 100%. I've got to say, it has to be Jordan Davis. Definitely Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
But big fan. I've been lucky enough to have a few chats with him. Know him reasonably well. He owns a business locally now, the Croyce Owl. I'm sure Rich Watkin will be happy that I've mentioned giving them a plug down there.
Take that money.
Not that he needs the money anymore, but no, Jordan Davis is a great guy. He's a Wrexham lad from Capoith, just up the road. And before his injury, before his first bad injury, he was flying. He was absolutely incredible, and I was gutted to see him get injured again. I was hoping he could go to hello, all right. So he's just got a visitor here, and
sounds like an adorable voice.
Yeah, but yeah, I think in terms of just one player, you just want him to have a bit of a break, for want of a better term, I suppose. It'd be Jordan Davis. And when he went to Grimsby, he started playing well. He was scoring goals. We were thinking, wow, he's getting back a bit of form. Maybe he'll come back in January and get in the first team. And then he's had another injury. And you know, he's out of contract at the end of the season. I think it's really, really sad. But yeah, maybe we won't see him in a red shirt again, and that would be a really sad thing. But yeah, certainly for me, it'd be Jordan.
He was the player. Him and Tozer were the two players that were like my first loves of like identifying and be able to see their impact on the pitch and understanding. Like, oh, when I watch this player, when I watch Jordan Davies do his part on the pitch, I can tell that the impact of and like how much better I can see him, dominating those other players. And so I have a soft spot for him. I want him to come back too.
He will.
Yeah.
He will. I'm this
Let's
is
hope
the
so. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. He'll put it back together. We'll see him and welcome back with open arms. I do have to run, so I'm gonna jump off of here. But before we go, have to thank Tomi so much for coming back, spending some time with us. The last question that I think anybody needs to know out there for signing off is from the Caws man. What style of Caws should we be enjoying this week in our home and personal lives?
Well, as a pizza fan, I've got to say mozzarella is a big favourite of mine. But no, go for the old Welsh cheddar. Get a bit of Welsh cheddar down there.
Okay.
You can't beat it. Extra mature though. Has to be extra mature. So yeah, something that I could never be accused of being, and that's mature. So yeah, get involved with that.
There you go. Thanks so much, Tomi, for coming on. I'll do my best to find Welsh cheddar in the U.S. I don't think I will, but I'll do my best. Speak to you again soon. We'll be tuning in. The links will be in the description. You already probably watch it. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. Check out This Week in Wrexham with Tomi, his other projects that I know will be coming down the pipeline because he is going to be hosting like X Factor next year or something. It's just, he's got the skills. But thank you so much, Tomi.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Absolute pleasure as always. And keep doing what you're doing. Really enjoying the stuff. Cheers.
Thank you. Up the town.
Up the town.
Cheers, mate.